Alright everybody, it's Boaty McBoatface here. Just joking. It's Revolver 84. Alright everybody, and we're here to do another video on ESO for beginners. And today we're going to focus on the character sheet. So let's get cracking. So first things first, where do I find the character sheet? So if we go on our menu, and there's an option there called character. Select that. There's your character sheet. So in there you've got all this sort of magic jazz that we're going to talk through in a minute, and all the stuff on the right hand side I'm going to break down for you. So first of all, we'll go through what's on the left hand side, and the first one's titles. So you can select that and you've got all your different titles of all the different things that you've done. So these titles here are accrued by doing different activity within the game. So let's see, for example, so that one, Fighters Guild Victor, that's when you've completed the Fighters Guild quest lines. Recruit, Thyro, Legionary, they're all Cyrodiil based thing. Dominion Hero, that's for unlocking some of the awards for the Dominion thing. Kingmaker, for example, that's this Orsinium DLC. Executioner's the Dark Brotherhood DLC, and the Master Thief, I think, is the... yeah, I think that's the Thieves Guild DLC. So basically, titled is nothing more than just what appears next to your name. Oh, you can't see it on that screen. And you can choose it from there. So on the right hand side, it's got your attributes. So we'll go from left to right, top to bottom. So maximum magicka, that's what your maximum magicka is. Maximum recovery, that's what your recovery is, so how fast you gain your magicka. Maximum health, that's the top value of what your health is, so that's accrued by wearing sort of like your armor and like your, you know, appropriate Mundus stones and things like that. Health recovery, that's how fast your health recovers in combat. Maximum stamina, that's how much stamina you've got. Your green bar. Stamina recovery, that's how fast your stamina recovers in combat. Spell damage is obviously how much damage you cause via magic, so that is predominantly when you use your staff, but you do also have spells that you can cast as well. Weapon damage, that is your two-hand, one-hand and shield, dual wheel and bow damage. That is not your staff damage. Spell critical, so whenever you get a critical attack on a enemy, that's the likelihood that's going to recur for a spell damaged based weapon, so that's your staffs. Or your staves. Same thing for weapon critical, that is when you've used your, like I say, your two-handed, one-hand shield, dual wheel and bow. The chances that you're going to get a critical hit with them hits. And then spell resistance, that's what your resistance is to incoming magic based attacks. Physical resistance is what you have for incoming resistance to physical based attacks. That's when someone's physically hitting you with with a weapon or a punch or something. And your critical resistance, that is when you've been crit hit and what your resistance is to that. And then, oh sorry, at the very top you've got your equipment bonus and then stars. So what that is that rates you on how good your equipment is, and then stars go backwards and forwards. I do believe 4's the highest. Correct us if I'm wrong. I would love to know if there's a 5th star, but I'm fairly confident 4 is the highest amount of stars you can get based on your equipment, and that goes up and down based on the quality of equipment that you've got in terms of level, and CP level, but also the quality of equipment in terms of, well, it's quality, so whether that's you know, white, green, blue, purple or gold. So we'll go down here. So these here are your attribute points. So you get these when you progress through the storyline in the game, and they're awarded to you every once in a while when you complete a certain main quest line based thing. You also get them ad hocly every once in a while. And these are used to assign sort of where your, how can I put it, what attributes you want to focus on the most. And these here at early doors, certainly pre CP level, are essential to get right. So I know a lot of people that do a lot of different things with these attributes. If you're making a magicka build, I know a lot of people who literally put all their attributes into magicka. Similarly, I know people who, when they are doing tank builds, they put all their attribute points into health, which is a stupid thing to do. And when you're doing physical DPS, I know some people that just put all the attributes into stamina. And generally speaking, there isn't anything right or wrong too much, apart from maybe the tank health one. There isn't too much wrong with them approaches type of thing, if you know how you're going to use your build and what you're going to rely on and such like. Me, I've got a distribution there of 12, 26 and 26. Now, my build is a tank build, but this game is quite unforgiving for tanks, especially tanks that want to do actual main like story quests, single player quests. So you've got to have some level of DPS, but also in addition to that, I knew I was going to choose a high elf, and high elves are really good with magicka, and they have appropriate magicka passives as well. So I decided to complement that with attributes points for magicka, not so much for potential for DPS or anything, but I could use magicka to recall buffs to keep me in the fight when it comes to tanking, which is pretty good. That distribution there, I'm not gonna lie, I think that is perfect for me. I can't think how that would be any better, if I'm honest. But like I say, there isn't really any right or wrong way of distributing that, providing you know how you're going to build your build and how you're going to use it. Apart from, like I say, maybe it's all in the health for tanks, because I think that is bloody stupid. But anyway, moving on. So your next part there is your description. Your description is just basically your overall, how you've progressed with your build and what its current state of play is. So this screen here, you don't amend anything on here directly. This is all done in game. So we'll go from top to bottom, left to right again. So race, it just tells you what your race is. So I'm high elf there. That's the race you choose at the very start of your game. Alliance, so that's one of your 3 alliances. That's the Ebonheart, Pack, Dominion, or Covenant. Went absolutely blank there for a minute. Class, that's the type of class you are, so obviously I've chose Dragon Knight there. Rank, that is your Cyrodiil based rank, so I'm Legionary grade 1. I know, that's not very high, but again, I'm a tank, and killing people in Cyrodiil is a bit of a bloody bother for me at the minute, I'm not going to lie to you. Champion points, that's how many champion points you've got. 402 in this case for me. Now, I know the CP cap is 630, so I've still got absolutely miles to go yet to reach that cap. And in reality, I'm not going to get it before Morrowind comes out. Not a chance. But I typed in what my gameplay time was the other day, just to see what it was. And to get to 402 champion points, I mean, don't get us wrong, I am trying to get Caldwell's gold, and I'm well on my way to doing it. But to get 402 champion points, I have played 625 hours on this game. 625 hours! By far the most gameplay I've ever played on any game in my entire life. So that puts some of the games that I've played in the past, even if you add them together, don't add up. So that's like all the Resident Evils I've played, all the Final Fantasies I've played, all the Gran Turismos I've played, all the Red Deads and Grand Theft Autos, all them, maybe even put together, don't equate to what I've played for this game. So that gives you an idea of just how much I love it. Anyway, I digress. Bounty, so that is the bounty you have on your head for doing crimes, whether that is thieving by pickpocketing, thieving by shoplifting, or stealing from people's homes or whatever, breaking into lockboxes, that sort of type of thing, and assassinating people and attacking civilians or NPCs. Riding speed, so the next 3 things: your riding speed, your riding stamina, and your riding capacity. So I've did a previous video on this before, and it's to do with your horse, or your mount, I should say. Horse is the wrong word, so it's your mount. So what you've got to do to progress those 3 things is you have to go to the stable master in various places. You can around the world. They are denoted by the icon on the map with the little horse's head. You'd go up to them, and every 20 hours you can select one thing for 250 gold to progress, and you can progress them all up to a maximum of 60. So that's 60% faster in terms of speed than what it would be when I purchased the mount. The stamina is 60 points better than what the stamina was when I purchased the mount, and the riding capacity is 60 times better, or in other words, I can get 60 more items on my mount. So that's pretty good. Next thing down is your XP bonus, your experience progress. So what it says there on the left hand side is what my experience points currently look at. Currently at, I should say, and the next one, 310,710 XP, is the number of XPs I need to get my next CP point. The next one down says your character is enlightened and will earn the next 4,800,000 XP at an accelerated rate. Now, I get asked all the time what this means, all the time. Some people think, oh, is this because you're an ESO subscriber? Some people think, is it because you've done a certain quest line? Some people think it's because you've done the main quest lines and you've completed the main... No, it's not. It's very, very easy. You get enlightened and you get bonus XP for playing the game regularly. It's as simple as that. If you play the game regularly, every... I think it's... Is it... I want to say 7 days, but for some reason 10 days is sticking in my head. But as long as you log on and you play the game every 7 to 10 days, you are enlightened and your experience is boosted because of that enlightenment. So, if for no other reason that you don't want to play the game, not that I would ever imagine why you wouldn't, because it's absolutely quality, but if you didn't want to play the game and you want to save it for later on maybe or something, it's still worth logging on just for 5 minutes, just so you can log on, so you can maintain that enlightenment, so that when you do come around to playing the game properly, you get that XP bonus. Really good early on if you wanted to progress your character, especially if you get that with the appropriate sort of passives and things as well, and the appropriate traits for yourself to progress your training faster. You get bonuses for that as well, and obviously you've got your other bonuses for things like your experience scrolls and such like. But honestly, for basically playing the game, you might as well get the enlightenment perk, because it's costing you nothing at all. It's no effort at all other than just logging on and playing the game. So the next section here on the left hand side is active effects. So the active effects, what are these? So that one there is the Mundus Stone that you've chosen. I have chosen the Lord because again I am a tank, so it increases your maximum health by 1,452. So your Mundus Stones, you can get things like the Thief, the Lover, you've seen them all before. They're all dotted around the place. What you would do is you would find the Mundus Stone denoted by an icon on your world map as just like a sort of like a rectangular sort of smooth stone getting thinner towards the top. You go over there, you'll find a big rock, bit like what you'd say at Stonehenge, like the shape of rocks at Stonehenge type of thing. Some of them have got like circles on, some of them have even got like characters on the top, if I'm honest. But basically you go up to these stones, you press it and you're given an option, and it tells you that if you select that as your Mundus Stone option, it'll give you X amount of passive, and whatever that passive is, this is where it appears here in your active effects. So your next one down, this here, it says increased magicka. Now that is to do with, I'll show you, whenever you use your slottable items such as food or drink or anything like that, these sort of things here, so these things here, so for example, wide-eyed double rye, increase health recovery by 539, stamina recovery by 493 for 1 hour. So if I take that right now, go back on my character sheet, so that passive has now disappeared, the increased magicka one, and I now have this one, health and stamina recovery, and that ticks down there, so that tells you how long you've got on it. This one here, it tells you if you're an ESO subscriber or not and the benefits of it. So ESO Plus member, I am. Only recently though, don't get us wrong, I haven't been an ESO Plus member for the last 2 years. I've been an ESO Plus member for the last 10 weeks or something. Long story sort of short, I'll not bore you with it. So benefits of being an ESO Plus subscriber is 10% increase in experience gained, inspiration, trait research and gold. So really, that there doesn't cover the main thing that ESO Plus is good for, and that is your crafting bag. So just to quickly show you what it is, so you've got your inventory here, so this is all your jars. Now if you don't have an ESO Plus subscription, what you would do is you would go into your materials and stuff, and you'd have in here all your materials that you've got, all your materials, all your resins and your wood and that sort of type of thing, and it takes up inventory space. However, if you're an ESO Plus subscriber, press R1 and there's your crafting bag, and you have all your crafting material stored in here without any inventory space being used up. So look at all that crafting material I've got there, all that, and not one inventory space is used up. Very beneficial thing if you're happy to invest in it. And then the next couple of things here, so these are to do with the skills that I have assigned to my character himself. So I've got Major Prophecy there and Major Savagery. So I'll show you sort of what I mean. So where's my bars? Oops. Go on skill there. So I get on this one Major Savagery for having Flames of Oblivion on me bar. That's not to say it's been used. It's not being used at all. It's just as long as it's on me bar, I get that passive. There's another one. Is it Eye as a Flame? Cause the other one. I think it's Eye of Flames. Oh no, sorry. What am I saying? Of course it's not. It's Dawnbreaker. So I get Major Savagery with Dawnbreaker as well. Yeah, that's right. So I get Major Prophecy and Savagery with that one, and Dawnbreaker I also get Major Savagery as well. It doesn't say that on there, but you definitely do. Trust us, you definitely do. I've tested it. But also as well, so as it currently stands, that's it in the character sheet, right? Right. But if I use my buffs, so for example, I use my Hardened Armor buff there. I use my Oblivion buff, I use my Vigor buff, and I use buff I want to use there. I can't recall what that is at the minute. Go back on character sheet, so you now have Major Resolve, Hardened Armor, Major Ward, Rapid Maneuver. Oh, I've got Rapid Maneuver. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I was doing some farming before. That's what it was. It wasn't Vigor, it's Rapid Maneuver I've got. And Minor Brutality. So when your buffs are up, this section here holds what all your buffs are, your active effects, and it counts down. So you see there, Retreating Maneuver, 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. And that's what you know if you know what you have buffed at any given time. So we'll wait for them to tick off. Right. So there's the attributes again. Okay. I'll just put... oh, no, I'll leave them where it is. Sorry. So I'll... right, so anyway, that's the attributes there. So you can see that. Now if I make my buffs, use my buffs, boosh, 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 go back on, they have now changed. So you can see, for example, health recovery's changed, for example. You can see my physical resistance has drastically changed by like 6,000 points there, for example. So as they count down, they quickly counted down there. They will, once they've counted down, your attributes will reset back to the default value. Default value is probably the wrong term, but you know what I mean. So that's your value they're the values that you have based on what your armor and your weapons are, and your attribute points distributions are at any given time, and who your character race is. And obviously, like I say, they go up and down based on what abilities you have active at any given time. Also, as well, if you have any negative effects. So, for example, if you get, let's think, Minor Maim assigned to you, Minor Maim will appear in here. And what it will do is it will reduce your... Minor Maim reduces your health recovery, I believe. And that affects your attribute points in there. So that is the character sheet. Pretty straightforward, pretty self-explanatory as well. There might be a couple of things that you weren't aware of. You mightn't have even really paid too much attention to it, really. So I hope that's been useful for you. And just a quick tip for its use when you come to using your build. So we've already talked about the attributes type of thing, but when you come in to decide what armor types you want, oops, you know, what sort of armor types you want and such like. So you've got there, for example, I have Dagger of Endurance for the Endurance set there, and you see the passives there on the bottom there. 2 items adds 1,540 maximum health, the 3 items adds 186 stamina. Them passive abilities, them bonuses for having that armor set there, are representative in the character sheet, in them stats there, so you can watch your stats go up and down. So an excellent way to test your build and how well you're doing is try loads and loads of different types of armor sets and weapon sets and such like, and observe what happens to your attribute score. If you feel, for example, you need to boost your Magicka recovery, it's all well and good putting loads of Magicka based traits and things and that on, But at the end of the day, this is the screen you want to come to check if your magic recovery has increased and by how much, and then you can weigh that against how trying to increase your magic recovery, because for every one attribute that you try to increase, there'll be negative effects for the other one. And a quick way to sort of show you how to do that as well is if we go, I keep going on to skills. If we go onto, for example, here, if you see on the right hand side, it says character attributes. So you can toggle between the two. That's the default one. That is where you compare the two weapons that you're going to swap side by side. But if you press square, it goes on this screen here, your character attributes. And there's another place where you can see your character attributes there. And you can see if I replace my main dagger of endurance with this one here, Inferno Staff of Fasala's Guile, the red there shows that the skills, the attributes that are going to be reducing by assigning this weapon. But you can also see by the green the stats that are going to increase by assigning this weapon. So there's a very quick, easy tip for you to use. And any person who's going to be playing Elder Scrolls Online long term has to be very familiar with the character sheet. Very beneficial and essential to knowing how well you are doing and what your build looks like and where you need to improve. So I hope that's been beneficial for yourselves. Thanks very much for watching. Keep your eyes peeled in this channel for more future videos. All the best. Ta-da.